My name is Michelle. I'm from SingleStore, and I'm here to host the 2022 SingleStore Database Hackathon Award Ceremony. We have had a lot of amazing entries that I'm so excited to take you through today. A little bit of a recap. We hosted a virtual hackathon over the last 2 months. The hackathon ran for 5 weeks as part of Hacktoberfest. And again, I'm just so thrilled with the participation. A huge thank you to all who submitted. I know our judges had a ton of fun looking over the projects, and it was really incredible to see what you all built on SingleStore DB. We have received a number of submissions. Again, a bit of a recap. Here are the categories: AI and ML, DB migration, HTAP, multi-model, and WASM. Moving into our first presenter, first category, I'm honored to introduce Marinella Profi, product strategy lead and data scientist from SAS Institute. Marinella, over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. And I was impressed by, all the nominees and all the use cases. So great job, everyone. Moving to the AI and ML category, which was I had the pleasure to be the judge of, we have the nominees as a movie recommender team. Congrats. Just to tell a little bit about this use case before we move into the announcing the winner. The use case was about, they took a really complex machine learning algorithm, the ALS algorithm, to obtain a number for each user in the users table in the movies table using SingleStore. And so the whole idea here was to build something that makes a movie recommender that actually recommended to us, movies that we like. And what I really liked about this use case was the fact that they used, lots of data, and it actually had a really impressive data loading pre-processing that was made with around 9,000 queries into the SingleStore database. And I really love the UI as well. So it is my pleasure to announce that the winner of the AI and ML category, it's the movie recommender. Congratulations, guys. Keep the great work and do not stop on developing machine learning and artificial intelligence. So thank you.
Hey, everyone. So I'm going to be introducing a couple different categories here. So the first category is database migration. So for the database migration category, we had a couple of really strong nominees for this category. 2 of them were actually done by the same person, Mohammed. That was Airbyte and Parrots. And Copyable was done by a team of Victor, Enrique, Adrian, and Vincent. And so the Airbyte SingleStore connector is really focused on building exactly what is in the name. So it is building an Apache Airbyte connector for SingleStore, which allows SingleStore to now be connected to consume data from tons and tons of different sources. I think Airbyte boasts over 100 different sources, and now all of those sources can be connected into the SingleStore database. This is a lot of value to SingleStore users, as now they have the ability to bring in data from anywhere inside their company really easily. So we're really excited about that project. Copyable, also really cool project. It focused on migrating from other databases. And one thing I was really impressed by is that they built a migration UI. So they had actually a full front end experience where you could sort of kick off migrations, start them, stop them, keep track of how they're going. And that's really cool. It's a lot of work. And so they focused on MongoDB as I think the first one, and then they had some MySQL stuff, but really cool, just being able to sort of move data over with schema and everything. And then finally, there was Parrots, which was also done by Mohammed, and it is essentially a continuous replication tool. So it continuously replicates from the MySQL sort of bin log, which is MySQL's replication stream, to SingleStore. It's sort of a command line tool, and again, really, really cool. And I love the name parrots to sort of remind you of repeating things, right? So it's copying data. I like that. It's quite clever. Cool. So the winner of this category is the Airbyte SingleStore connector by Mohammed. We just see a lot of value in this connector. I'm really excited to see if we can get this into the upstream Apache Airbyte organization. So that's the database migration category. Moving on to the HTAP category. So HTAP is hybrid transactional analytical processing. So the idea of HTAP is showcasing that SingleStore is really good at running multiple types of query workloads on the same data at the same time. And so, for example, you could have a transactional application workload running at the same time as an expensive analytics workload. There was 2 nominees that we decided to put into this category. That's Reserva and Router Homes. Reserva is done by someone named Cal, and Router Homes is done by Vaishak and Dushent. Now let's talk about Reserva first. So Reserva really was focused on building essentially a full bank backend on top of SingleStore. So it has the ability to it was actually beyond just a bank backend. It was actually a bank backend. So essentially, I think about like a central data store for many different banks to sort of have like a central clearinghouse to be able to move money between any of those banks, any of those accounts, all in one single massive system. And so Cal really focused on building this full CRUD architecture to sort of allow banks to be created, accounts to be created, transactions to be created. And then he built like a little benchmarking tool that can simulate a transactional workload of moving data around the system. While that was running, he actually was able to run analytical queries on the same data, showcasing the HTAP capabilities of SingleStore. And Router Homes is, I think, a really, really cool demo, and it's also a great, it's like a great demo of sort of SingleStore capabilities with regard to IoT or Internet of Things. So the focus of Router Homes was building real-time analytics of device metrics as people travel around New York City during the day. So if you imagine walking around New York City, imagine that your phone was connecting to different access points as you walked around. We could actually look at the load on all those distinct access points as groups of people, like the distribution of people through New York City changed. And that's really what the focus of Router Homes was. It was doing that analytics. They built a simulation system that basically was able to simulate people moving around New York City, going on their sort of paths between their work and their home and so on. And then they had a really nice visualization of that, sort of like a heat map style visualization. Something I do want to call out that I thought was really cool is that they used pipelines for data ingestion. And pipelines is one of the best ways in which you can sort of hook SingleStore up to a very large volume of changing, like fast changing data. And so that's Router Homes. And for this one, the winner of the HTAP category is Router Homes. So thank you so much. That was a really fantastic project. The next category that I'm going to present is multimodal. So SingleStore, first and foremost, is a relational database. That's a database that is focused on relations, essentially sets of data that you can join together and run queries on. But what makes SingleStore even more powerful is our ability to have many different kinds of data. And so as an example, SingleStore supports JSON as essentially a column type. So you can actually have sort of semi-structured data within a single row. And you can query that just like any other type of data inside SingleStore. We also support geospatial data. We have a full text search system and so on. We have vector data. We have a bunch of different things. And so multimodal, this category is about people who have taken advantage of some of those non-standard relational features that are inside SingleStore. So there's 2 call outs here. The first one is Animal Explorer, which was written by Juan. And Animal Explorer is focused on using our geospatial feature to identify which animals look like exist in a given geographic location. So he has all the data about where animals show up around the world, and he has all of the different sort of polygons saying, like, you know, if you click on, let's say, a particular state in the US or like a country in Africa, it could tell you all the animals that can show up in that area instantaneously by just querying SingleStore to say which animals are sort of in this area. So that was Animal Explorer, really, really cool idea for our project and a nice educational tool, actually. The next one was Brave Chat, which is by Mohammed. or Mahmoud, and it's basically a real-time chat application. So you can imagine a full chat backend allowing many people to connect to the system and all chat at the same time. And one interesting thing that Mahmoud was working on is basically related to sort of storing encrypted data inside SingleStore. It looks like the hackathon didn't quite get all the way there, but it definitely has some good strokes in that direction. But one thing that he definitely used was full text search, which is another type of multimodal sort of feature set that exists inside SingleStore. And that was Brave Chat. It's a full-blown chat system with the ability to do photos and text and all sorts of cool stuff. And so the winner for the multimodal category is Animal Explorer. We felt that they did a really good job of really taking full advantage of the geospatial feature inside SingleStore to build their project. So congratulations. All right, and I think it's Bailey next.
Hello, my name is Bailey Hayes. I am a director of engineering at a startup called Cosmonic. We build an application platform for distributed apps, and those distributed apps use this technology called WASM. I don't yet assume that everybody knows what WASM is, so I'll give a little high-level view of what that is. WASM is a compilation target that's portable, fast, and secure. And any WASM-enabled runtime can run it, like running inside an engine, or probably from where you're watching right now, you probably have downloaded a WASM module in your browser, and your browser knows how to run it. So it lets you run it basically anywhere, even in a database, as SingleStore does it. And so we had several really cool submissions for this. The first one is by Nakul Havelia. He created a project for drone surveillance. Drone delivery surveillance is a really cool up-and-coming sector for construction, disaster management, delivery, even healthcare. So this project has a lot of interesting uses. What I find really cool about it is that it used more than one interesting algorithm for figuring out how to path multiple drones in a given area. So say you have a city and you have 5 drones, it knows how to deploy those drones so that they can visit all the points of interest in the most efficient way. So use k-means clustering and the traveling salesman. So that's really neat, and I can see a lot of use cases for it. And you might be wondering, okay, well, why compile it to WASM and why not use something else for this? Well, now you have a way of transactionally guaranteeing where all of these different drones are deployed in your system in real time. So that's one of the key reasons why you would want to do this with a very fast database like SingleStore DB. The next up is the journal application by Carl Duncan. Carl took advantage of the ability to compile any existing algorithm or program. You can take that and then basically compile that to WASM, so you don't necessarily have to write your own code. He used AES 256 encryption to build a journal application, so you can encrypt and decrypt strings that you store in the database. And it's all open source, and he built a complete application for iOS and Android using Flutter. Very cool. And last but certainly not least is WASM UDF QuickJS eval. This is by Choi. That might not sound like the same as some of these other names that we've been laying out, but I think what happened is Choi had a really cool idea and was like, what if I could do this? And I would say that was very successful in doing that. As basically was able to, right now, SingleStore DB code engine lets users extend the functionality of the database by adding any code that compiles to WASM. Well, there is one language that doesn't yet compile to WASM, and that's JavaScript. And so by taking an existing project called QuickJS, which is a very tiny and embeddable JavaScript runtime, compiling that to WASM, now SingleStore DB is able to accept JavaScript as code, which JavaScript is the #1 programming language in the world today. So very powerful extension of SingleStore DB. And so I would like to announce the winner. It was a tough call, but drone surveillance wins. So congratulations to Nakul Havelia.
Thank you so much, Bailey. Carl, over to you.
Cool. So just to finish up the sort of announcements for today, the honorable mentions for the categories are listed here. So for DB migration category, Copyable takes the honorable mention for a fantastic project. Multimodal, Brave Chat takes the honorable mention. HTAP goes to Reserva, and WASM, there's actually 2 honorable mentions for that category. There's the WASM UDF QuickJS Eval and the Journal app. So thank you so much to all the nominees and all the winners. Back to you.
Thanks, Carl. Wow, thank you so much to all of our presenters. Marinella, Bailey, Carl, you all did such a great job recapping the amazing projects that were submitted, and a huge congratulations to our winners. Your prizes will be headed your way via GitHub. Additionally, all valid submissions and participants will receive a SingleStore swag pack. So keep an eye out for an email from our team there. We want to make sure we get your sizes and your shipping address. So please keep an eye out for that. It will be coming soon. And lastly, because we had such an amazing time this time around, we can't wait to do it again. So we actually will have our next hackathon coming soon in January. So we'll be starting the new year off right with more amazing projects, and we can't wait to work with all of you. We hope to see you in the meantime. We are hosting a winter release launch event Thursday, December 15th. So check out our site to register for that. And as always, we love to have folks in the product trying out some of these great new utilizations of SingleStore DB. So you can always sign up today for $500 in free credits to keep on working with us. So a huge thank you to all who participated. Judges, thank you. Presenters, thank you. And have a great rest of your day.